Hello, everybody. It's Gary Stuckey here. Going to be talking about Steve Perry and Journey and Jeff Scott Soto and CNN. Yeah. On my other channel, I did a video, by now, the New Year's Eve fiasco with Andy Cohen over there on CNN. Talked about the fake Journey. He was drinking, started a bunch of things. It was all over social media, and he apparently they fired him, but they didn't fire him. I guess he's back, but he's not allowed to come back to the New Year's Eve specials anymore. He had a lot to say about Ryan Seacrest, things like that. Uh, but anyway, it's kind of getting the Journey Steve Perry controversy topic going again. I've talked about it for a long time. And I answered a question over on my other channel and kind of discussed some things I've talked about before, but I just want to talk about that, okay? And I kind of compared it to a football player, Tom Brady. He was playing for New England. He was a quarterback for New England for years. They won Super Bowls, things like that. Well, he went to another team. So what do? Do you quit liking New England? If you're a Tom Brady fan, I guess you follow him and you go to the other team. You still like Tom Brady. You're not so much of a fan of his old team. I get that. But if you're a New England fan, when Tom leaves, you still like New England. Well, that's the case with Journey, I believe. And Neil was there before Steve. He started the band. He's carried the band for all these years, even after Steve. He's done a great job. The singers have been great. Steve Algeri and, Arnell is awesome. And Jeff Scott Soto, who is in the news again. Neil had made a comment about Jeff's saying that he was never knew about the reason why he was let go of the band after 14 years. He still didn't know. And then Neil came on there on social media, was talking about it, and just said it was boring, like a PR type stunt, things like that. And he said that Jeff tried to sue the band, things like that. But the bottom line is he wasn't a fit for the band. They had a band called Soul Circus. It's pretty much Journey without Jonathan Cain, right? But and I kind of agree with that. He just didn't fit their style. And I think what Neil was wanting to go with, and that's especially why they got Arnell, because he sounded more like Steve Perry. They wanted to keep that Steve Perry sound, that legacy going. And of course, Steve Perry will always be the best singer in Journey. I mean, you could ask Arnell, Dean Castronovo, they love the guy. They love Steve. So there's no hard feelings there, right? And Jeff Scott Soto loves Steve. But, is there a fake Journey without Steve? I don't think so. Just like I said about the football players. You can still like Journey. You can like Steve. And as far as those two working together or the future, that's just an empty sheet, a blank sheet, a blank canvas. Anything can happen, right? Whether you believe it or not. But as far as the past, we can't go back to the past, but we can remember and enjoy the music that they did together, and that's never going to change. Never. And whether those guys make up, it seems, they're supposed to get together, have some coffee. I think it's bothered Neil that hasn't happened. Maybe, he's kind of, I don't know. Who knows, like I said, what's going on in their minds. But I know that he's got a band that he's proud of, and Arnell's doing a good enough job. The band is doing good enough, and they're going on tour. And I'm looking forward to new music from Journey and from Steve Perry, and it's separately, and that's okay. And but Jeff Scott Soto, speaking of Jeff Scott Soto, he always loved, Steve, so he didn't try to take his place. He didn't try to, and he was going to sing kind of differently, a different take on the Journey sound. And I always wondered what Journey would sound like without trying to be so much like Steve. right? And I think that's the direction he would have taken. It might have worked. It might have been kind of cool in that area. And even Steve Perry himself mentioned in an article in an interview in 2011 that he thought that Jeff Scott Soto should have stayed with Journey, should have been the one, and kind of took him in that direction. He said, try to get personal with the guys, maybe had more input, and kind of took them into a different direction. But that didn't happen. Sometimes things don't happen the way we think. But I do believe Arnel, Arnel's one of the nicest guys ever, and his singing is great. Does he mess up sometimes singing? Everybody does. How can you hit those notes all the time? But I think he does a great job, and I think he's a good fit for the band. And I think Steve Perry has got some great music coming up very soon, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for both bands. And it's like, if you're a kid, your parents get divorced, you should love your mom, you should love your dad, right? That's the case. These two got a divorce, but they're going their separate ways and they're doing their own things. And guess what? It's okay to like both. It's okay. And is Journey a fake band without Steve Perry? The answer is no, because the truth is they were Journey before Steve, they're Journey after Steve, and that's a separate issue. Because Steve Perry's his own man. He's his own person. He can do what he wants to do. He do his own music. He's in control, and I think that's what he likes. He likes to do solo stuff, and I'm looking forward to whatever he does, and who knows about the future. That's why you can never stop believing. Until next time, everybody, this is Gary Stuckey, and whatever you do, don't you stop believing. God bless.